Good evening. I'd like to call to order the Mason City Council meeting for... Could we have the roll call, please?
Mayor Pro Tem Brown.
Present.
Councilmember Bruno.
Here.
Councilmember Clark.
Here.
Councilmember Drosha.
Here.
Councilmember Ferris.
Here.
Councilmember Mulvaney.
Here.
Mayor Waltz.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Would you all rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance and the invocation?
Lord, we gather here tonight, and we have all received the call and accepted to step up in an effort to lead our community. We ask that you grant us open hearts, open minds, and your wisdom as we lead in the direction in which you direct us as we lead the city in 2015. Please watch over our city and all those cities like ours that are now digging out from major snow event, or will be digging out again tomorrow. Watch over our first responders, our military personnel, and keep everybody safe and out of harm's way. We pray these things in your name. Amen.
Next up item on the agenda is the announcement. Council members, are there any announcements this evening? Councilmember Ferris?
Yes. Trying to spread the word, we have a Mason Area Disaster Response Team meeting on the 26th of February, which is a Thursday at 7 o'clock at the fire department. And this is in response to the big accident down by Dexter. What if that happened here? More or less so that we don't reinvent the wheel, we know what's available. Anyone is welcome to come. We encourage questions and ideas. And that's the 26th of February, a Thursday at 7 p.m. at the firehouse. Thank you.
Any other announcements? I would like to just make an announcement regarding the Mason 150th. It is not too late to join the Mason 150 Club. This exclusive club is limited to the first 150 members, and the cost is just a mere $150. You can make your donation to the Mason Area Chamber of Commerce, and there are some perks involved. I invite you to visit the Chamber of Commerce on Ash Street and check out this opportunity. Mayor Pro Tem Brown.
On that same note, I'd like to remind the council and the community that on Monday, March 9th, 2015, the City of Mason will celebrate the sesquicentennial of its Day of Incorporation, and there will be a ceremony marking that occasion here at City Hall at 6 o'clock p.m. So please put that on your calendar, Monday, March 9th at 6 o'clock p.m. We're hoping to have a good turnout from the community to really kick off our year of events and activities for the sesquicentennial. Thank you.
Any other announcements? People from the floor. Seeing none, the next order of business is the consent agenda. Is there anything anybody would like removed from the consent agenda? Otherwise, I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Mr. Mayor?
Councilmember Drosha.
I move that we accept the consent agenda or approve the consent agenda as presented.
I second the motion.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor of approving the consent agenda signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? Consent agenda is approved, 7-0. First regular item of business Resolution 2015-10, an appointment to the Historic District Commission. This appointment is to fill a vacancy that I created myself, unfortunately, by being elected to council. And I did, you'll see in your packet under correspondence, present a letter of resignation addressed to the administrator of the Historic District Commission and the council. I realize the procedure is to address the letter to the mayor and city council, but as mayor, I already knew I was resigning. It seemed kind of redundant to do that, and I really wanted Mr. Haywood to have the courtesy of knowing what was taking place. So with that said, Resolution 2015-10, Mayor's appointment to the Historic District Commission. Mayor Pro Tem Brown.
I move to consider resolution number 2015-10 as being read.
Second.
Resolution 2015-10 is considered as being read. Is there any discussion? All those in favor of the resolution being considered as read signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? Madam Clerk, do you have one to introduce?
Yes, I do. City Council Resolution number 2015-10, Mayor's appointment to the Historic District Commission, introduced by Brown, second by Mulvaney.
Is there any discussion on the resolution?
Mr. Mayor.
Mayor Pro Tem Brown.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to speak to the individual that has been selected as the appointee to the Historic District Commission. Rita Vogel is a person who is very active in the community. I've had the pleasure of working with her on the Sesquicentennial Committee, where she is serving as the lead committee member and chair of our events and activities for the year. I know her to be very passionate about the community, and she seeks to be involved in municipal affairs, and I think that given her interest in the Sesquicentennial and also her interest in city government, that this is a good place for her to begin to serve as a board member or commission member. And so I applaud the mayor on this selection, and I will be voting in support of Ms. Vogel to serve on the Historic District Commission.
Councilmember Mulvaney.
I also would like to say welcome Rita very much to the Historic Commission. It should be noted that Rita lives in the Historic District and has retained a real interest in the Historic District area and knows the people very well that have businesses in the area. So I'm supporting Rita very much and welcoming her.
Any other discussion? All those in support of Resolution 2015-10 signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? Resolution is approved 7-0. Next, new business, Resolution 2015-11, adoption of MERS Defined Benefit Plan Agreement. Our Human Resource Coordinator, Ms. Revels, was scheduled to be here, but was unable to make it due to the weather, so I will turn this over to Mr. Colburn to give us a prelude to it.
Honorable Mayor and Council members, this is in regard to us hiring Officer Jeremiah Budd. As you may recall, last year there was the adoption of the contracts with the unions of the FOP, Fraternal Order of Police, for both the supervisory and non-supervisory groups. For future hires, there is a defined benefit plan with a 1.5 multiplier with a retirement at age 55 or older. They vest at 10 years of employment and a final average compensation of 5 years. Basically, the employer contribution is calculated with the group, and then the employer contribution is capped at 10%. And that's in accordance to the contract language. This is the first officer to be in this category of C1, and so MERS is requiring, as they do the new calculations, that we follow through with this paperwork so they can do their calculations. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Coburn.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilmember Drosha.
I move that we consider resolution number 2015-11 as having been read.
I second the motion.
Is there any discussion on the resolution being considered as being read? All those in favor of the resolution being considered as being read signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Do you have one to introduce, Madam Clerk?
Yes, I do. City Council Resolution number 2015-11, Defined Benefit Plan Adoption Agreement, introduced by Brown, second by Mulvaney.
Is there any discussion on Resolution 2015-11? All those in favor of Resolution 2015-11, adoption of MERS Defined Benefit Plan Agreement, signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? The resolution passes 7-0. Next regular business item is a motion to cancel the May 4th, 2015 City Council meeting due to a conflict with the May 5th special election and ultimately reschedule it for the May 6th, 2015. Mr. Coburn, would you like to just briefly update us on that?
Honorable Mayor and Council members, the legislature, working with the governor, has called for a special election. In essence, this is a compromise on the transportation bill, and it'll be coming to the vote of the people on May 5th. Now, that new requirement puts a unexpected requirement upon the cities to perform, and townships, to perform an additional election. By the way, I was notified Friday that the state will be putting up $10 million to help fund this election. So I just got that word Friday. I was waiting for that. I was a little nervous. That being said, our city clerk, Deborah Schwarzenevich, will have an additional activity to pull together for this particular election. As you know, we start setting up for those elections in the council chambers, in the different rooms that we utilize typically and traditionally in here for council meetings and other meetings. And so that these halls will be utilized at that time for the election. Therefore, it's a conflict. We also utilize the training room at the fire station. So there's really nothing immediately available, and so it's recommended to move later into the weeks. Now, this is also traditionally the week that we typically review and have the public hearing for the budget. So I wanted to make you aware of that. If there's any specific questions in regard to the setup, I know the city clerk would be more than glad to address that, and we are recommending to move the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Coburn. Any questions for Mr. Coburn? I would entertain a motion to approve the motion as Mayor Pro Tem Brown.
I move to approve the request of the city clerk to cancel the Monday, May 4th, 2015 meeting due to the governor calling a special election to be held on Tuesday, May 5th, 2015, and to approve the request of staff to schedule a special meeting of the City Council on Wednesday, May 6th, 2015, to be held at 6:30 p.m.
Second.
The motion, as Mayor Pro Tem Brown has read, has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion?
Question.
Councilmember Bruno?
Time?
For the new meeting, it says 6:30. Is there a reason for that?
That's my question.
Surely, because there's a public hearing, thought that it might be a little more advantageous to service the public
That way, we have a little bit more flexibility since it's a changed date of the meeting.
So in essence, it's to accommodate a public hearing at 6:30, followed immediately by the council meeting.
They would all be part of the same meeting, but the public hearing, yes.
Yes, that's just it. Any other questions? Mayor Pro Tem Brown.
Thank you. I recognize the burden that staff has by facilitating and administering the election. The one hesitation I have with this, even though I will be supporting it, is that we would be holding a public hearing on the budget on not only a different date, but also a different time than is customary for the council. That being said, I would hope that when the council does hold the public hearing and any deliberation on that day, that we would then reserve the passage of the city budget until our regular Monday meeting in May, which would be the charter mandated deadline by which we would have to approve it. But I think it would be a little bit unorthodox for us to not only hold a public hearing on the budget, but to also approve that budget on a date and time that is non-traditional for the public to participate. That being said, I understand the limitations that we have with scheduling and also with the timeline for approving our budget, but I simply put that out there, and I think it's incumbent on all of us, city and council members alike, to ensure that the public is well informed of this date and time change so that there will be an adequate avenue to participate in the budget deliberation process. Thank you.
Councilmember Mulvaney.
I would just like to ask, is there any reason why we could not have used the training room and meet on a regular meeting night?
The training room is also utilized for the elections that same evening. We've got the whole building utilized for the most part of all the meeting rooms for the different precincts and or AV boards. I believe that room is used for the AV board, is it not, Deborah?
We use the training room as a break room and a lunch room, dinner, breakfast. It's where the inspectors can go when they have a break.
Okay, I understand that, but that use would be on the day of the election, right?
We have to set up usually Thursday or Friday before the election day so that we can get everything in place. And on that Monday, it would be set up as a lunchroom and have a lot of different, it would be set up with coffee pots and food and that kind of thing. It wouldn't be appropriate for set up for a meeting, and we would not have time to reset it.
Sure, Mayor Pro Tem Brown.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. To our city clerk, are there stipulations regarding who is allowed to be in the building where the voting is to occur prior to the start of voting, which is 7 a.m., meaning that at a certain time, do we have to kind of lock down everything so that there is no suspicion of equipment tampering or anything of that degree?
All of the equipment is locked up, and nothing is out that could be tampered with. It is under lock and key, secured, until the morning that the inspectors come in, and then it's given to them.
Are there any other questions, comments? Mayor Pro Tem Brown, your comments are duly noted regarding the timeline for the budget and perhaps considering when we would want to dispose of that order of business. It would be incumbent upon us, if this motion is approved, to be aware of that we are meeting on a special date and at a different time to hold the public hearing. We could potentially arrange or take necessary action to finally approve the budget on the second council meeting in May, which would be on the 18th at that time. Either way, it could go either way with this motion.
Mr. Mayor, I too am concerned about the 6:30 start time. When all of our publications, it says that we'll start our meetings as close to 7 o'clock as possible. And for people that attend or wish to attend or live in the community, they know the meetings start at 7 o'clock. I think the 6:30 time is something that we normally, the 6 or 6:30 something we normally adjust and use for a workshop or something like that. So I think that although I fully understand and can kind of go along with the meeting day change, I believe that the time should be at 7 o'clock when we normally meet, and or 7:30 when we normally meet, and as to at least eliminate that portion of the confusion.
Mayor Pro Tem Brown.
I am moved to amend the original motion to change the start time to 7:30 p.m.
I don't believe there's a motion has been made yet.
Yes.
Oh, yes, I apologize.
It was.
Thank
And I'll second the amendment to the motion.
An amendment to the main motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion on the amendment? All those in favor of the amendment to the main motion to change the time to our normal meeting time of 7:30 signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? The amendment to the motion passes 7-0. Is there any further discussion on the main motion? All those in favor of the amended main motion signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? The motion carries 7-0. Next order of business is unfinished business. Councilmember Bruno?
No.
Councilmember Ferris?
No.
Councilmember Clark?
None.
Mayor Pro Tem Brown?
I have none.
Councilmember Mulvaney?
None.
Councilmember Drosha?
None.
New business. Councilmember Bruno?
Yes. Going back to March 17th of 2014, Resolution 2014-10 was read and introduced, and at that time that dealt with the bridge at the cemetery for the trailhead construction at the Riverwalk Trail. And that motion at the time was defeated on a 3-3 vote, which made tie, which was defeated. It was brought up again on April 7th at the request of Councilmember Mulvaney for reconsideration. And at that time, it was approved with a 4-2 vote, with one being absent. And I'm just kind of curious. That's been pushing almost a year, and I haven't seen anything about the bridge or anything of the trailhead parking lot yet. And I bring this up under new business because it's a new council, and I'm just curious. I don't understand what's not happened with the bridge, because I know 3 members of this current setting council contributed towards it also. And I know the Hay-Hos have, and we were supposed to get a passport grant, and Dart Foundation was going to contribute money, and a bike club, and I just think that somewhere something would have been done with this bridge by now.
Point is well taken, Councilmember Bruno. However, the Dart Foundation did withdraw their $10,000 grant during the first consideration when it was voted down. And I also seem to recall from watching that meeting that there was a time frame attached to it. Mr. Colburn, was that like 90 days? I don't have my tablet on right now to go back to that resolution that you referenced to verify, but could you give us an update on what that time frame may have been?
Surely. It was reported at the time that this project was scheduled for 2015, and it's in the works in terms of the design, working with Wolverine. The different permits that are required we've discussed and applied for, and so I believe they're still awaiting a couple of those permits, but otherwise that is scheduled to be constructed this summer.
Okay. Between now and the next council meeting, would you mind getting a more detailed update on where those permits are and possibly a a proposed timetable for that bridge, because it has been a while, and I realize, Councilmember Bruno, you won't be here to see that, but you can probably catch it on the replay. And I'll
Certainly, we'll
update
get a
then.
report for you.
Thank you, Mr. Coburn. Unfinished business, Councilmember Ferris.
None.
New business. New business, Councilmember Clark.
No.
Mayor Pro Tem Brown.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Just a few things briefly tonight. The first is I want to acknowledge the work that staff put into our strategic planning goals and objectives meeting this weekend. I think we had a very constructive.
Mr. Mayor, point of order. This portion of the new business is items that are supposed to be brought to the council that aren't on an agenda that are supposed to be action items, either to be placed forward or to be dealt with as they're brought up. With all due respect to the Mayor Pro Tem, that's an announcement that probably should have been made under the announcements.
Mr. Mayor, may I follow?
Mayor Pro Tem Brown.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. In acknowledging the work of the staff, I was simply going to follow up and ask that the notes of that meeting and subsequent action by this council be presented at a forthcoming meeting. I understand that it was the consensus at that meeting. However, I felt that it would be appropriate to convey that request in a public meeting so that we could receive those action items at a future date. So that was simply my first order of new business. I also want to acknowledge that we do have a letter from Councilmember Bruno indicating his absences over the coming month, and so I would like to make a motion to excuse Councilmember Bruno from the February 16th, March 2nd, and March 16th council meetings.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded to excuse Councilmember Bruno on the 3 dates. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motions passes 7-0. New business, Councilmember Mulvaney.
No new business, Mayor.
Councilmember Drosha.
None.
Correspondence. In your packet, you've got the letter, change of command at WOW, the announcement and certificate from the LCC Foundation, certificate from the Masonry Chamber of Commerce, MML, letter and another membership certificate, letter of resignation from the chair of the Historic District Commission, and the letter detailing excused absences from Councilmember Bruno. Next order is liaison reports. Traffic Commission, Councilmember Drosha.
Traffic met last Wednesday, and we elected our officers, and we didn't have any. I'm sorry, the words are failing me. we swore in one new member, and I'm drawing a blank on who that got reappointed. I'm drawing a blank on his name. I'm sorry. I should have written that down. Other than that, that's all, yeah, pretty much that's all we did.
Elections.
Yep, the elections of our officers.
I would add to that Roger Bauer was reelected as chair. Jeff Howder was, I believe, reelected as vice chair.
Right. Yep.
Thank you, Councilmember Drosha.
I'm trying to think of who it was that was reappointed that got sworn in, but I can't think. Sorry. Brian, totally fried.
Tree Commission, Councilmember Ferris.
Just a reminder that you can still purchase a tree, a memorial tree for the sesquicentennial. It's $150, and the city matches that. We're hoping to plant 150 trees since we've lost quite a number in previous years. And we meet in April otherwise. Thank you.
Historic District Commission, Councilmember Mulvaney.
The intention was to have met last Monday night. We were unable to do so due to lack of a quorum. We will be electing a new chair at the next meeting. We anticipate being in end of February. The unfinished business before the district deals with the inventory of historic places and completing the task of getting that inventory onto our website. And so what we are seeking is suggestions and knowledge of a webmaster that is able of moving the data from our access program to our website and developing the link, etc. And we'd like to complete this because this task has kind of been in front of us for almost 5 years now. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Mulvaney. Mayor, next order of business would be council member reports. Are there any reports from council members? Oh, I did that on purpose, just to see if you're paying attention like last time.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to give a brief report about the Planning Commission. Our next scheduled meeting is February 10th at 6:30 p.m., and that is intended to be a joint meeting with the City Council to hear an update from the City Attorney regarding the Michigan medical marijuana ordinance and to offer input as the Planning Commission begins their deliberations of a proposed ordinance for Mason to regulate that. So council members are invited to attend and participate in that joint meeting. It will be at 6:30 in the training room here at City Hall.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Brown. Also, in my haste to get to the council member reports, I overlooked the fact that the DDA will meet on May 4th, just as an update. Council member reports. Does anybody have any specific council member reports?
Yes.
Councilmember Ferris.
I attended the Ingham County Parks Commission meeting, and they were talking about rails and trails, specifically the money that they voted for, trails. There were a number of people from different communities, as well as supporters from bicyclists and other supporters and other communities. We had a presentation on the Great Lakes Trail and the North-South Trail. We're trying to go up, down, north, south, east, west, all the way. There are two sets of trails, north-south. There's a specific hiking trail and a specific biking trail. But they also, in this presentation, noted some holes, of which we are one of them. And we have some, we had a good discussion on public comment on those, and they are putting a task force together to get public input, to get ideas, also to publicize the whole concept so that we can get even more input from various communities and members. And the task force contact is going to be Laura Koenig. It's on the Ingham County Parks website. The next meeting is on Monday, the 23rd of February at 6 p.m. at 5303 South Cedar Street, building number 3. And I will say that they at least run a short meeting. The whole discussion was only an hour and a half, including the presentation. So not too onerous for anybody to go to, especially if you're interested in the trail question.
Thank you, Councilmember Ferris. Councilmember Clark, at the last council meeting, we were throwing around some dates, and you had mentioned one of them conflicted with the Sun-Dried Music Festival meeting. Did you have a meeting? Is there an update to that, or will you be meeting soon?
We've met and are scheduled to meet again next week.
Do you have an update on what's going on with it?
We're planning.
Planning? The chamber schedule they released has dates but not times yet, so just interested to know in what is going forward with it, and if you would be so inclined to present a report at each meeting, that would be great. And along those same lines, Mayor Pro Tem Brown, you spoke a little bit about the Mason 150th. Do you have anything further to add about what's going on with that group?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll just announce that our next meeting will be Monday, February 9th at 6:30 here at City Hall. We're continuing to plan for the March 9th event as well as some of our summer activities, and it's going to be an exciting year. So I'll be sure to keep the council informed as to our activities and preparations, and if it's the desire of this council, we can use this spot on the agenda as an opportunity to do that.
That would seem appropriate along with the sun-dried update. Next order of business, administrator reports. Mr. Colburn.
Honorable Mayor and council members, first of all, I'd like to reference the most recent storm from last night and the night before. DPW was out Sunday, as well as in early morning hours. By early morning, all the main major streets were cleared, and they continued to work the local streets, whereas most of those are cleared now as of late this afternoon. They're going to do continued cleanup in terms of downtown, some of the stored, make sure the cul-de-sacs and everything is finished up. But I was pleased with the response from DPW. They came out hard and swinging onto the snow. That being said, we were open for business today. Had very few absentees, and continued business as usual. In regard to the Ingham County Parks Commission, just another quick comment on that. As you know, in the millage, there's a lot of money on the table, and what I also grasped out of that meeting is 2015 is going to be a year for planning, and then they want to go really hard into those projects for about 4 years. So I see some real opportunities there, and they're very interested in terms of, as Councilmember Ferris pointed out, expanding the trail system in this region. In regard to the leadership summit that I referenced here, the business leaders from Michigan, they're holding a leadership summit entitled Building a New Michigan, and they're trying to get people on the same sheet of music and understanding what they're trying to accomplish. This is March 26th from 8 to noon at the Lansing Center, and they're trying to encourage as many of the different community leaders as possible to participate. There's no cost, and if you'd like to go, want us to set that up for you, we'd be more glad to do so. Just to cut one other thing, the fire department responded to an accident out at US 127 during the storm. It was a very hairy situation, and a lot of snow, blowing wind, vehicles, ice, snow, and it was a bad accident. Unfortunately, the gentleman involved survived. Semi-truck car versus car, and just kudos to the fire department of the great response that we had, and them taking command and control of a bad situation. Then the last item, I wanted to introduce Police Chief John Stressman, who will follow through with the rest of the report.
Thank you, Mr. Colburn. I realize this was unplanned. We'd arranged to do this next meeting, but apparently Jeremiah and I didn't communicate very well today. I want to introduce to you your latest acquisition, fresh from the Williamston Police Department, Officer Jeremiah Budd. Jeremiah, as I just referenced, is formerly a Williamston police officer and formerly an employee of the United States Mail Services. He's a local boy, if you will. Went to school in Leslie, as I recall. Graduated from the LCC Police Academy and has been with us about 2 weeks. I have a lot of hopes that Jeremiah will be around for a while. As you know, our Officer Gadare just left for the Michigan State Police Academy, a position that he's wanted for many years, apparently. No disrespect to the Mason Police Department. He assured me he regrets leaving, but the man has a lot of potential in life, and I see great things for him, and I wish him the best. Anyway, please welcome Jeremiah. Jeremiah, by all accounts, by his first training officer, has been an outstanding recruit. I don't think we expect him to say anything, but maybe he wants to make a comment or two.
It's great to be here. I'm from the area. Not a big public speaker, so I'm from Leslie. I live in the area, so I plan on sticking around for the long haul. I enjoy being in law enforcement, and I look forward to serving your community. It's nice meeting you guys.
Thank you, Officer Budd. We look forward to having you, and
Different sunglasses.
Yeah, thanks. I recognize that.
Okay.
Welcome.
Welcome aboard. Good to see you.
Thank you for your indulgence. Have a good night.
Thank you, Chief Stressman. Any questions for Mr. Colburn on the administrator's report?
I have one.
Councilmember Mulvaney?
Could I ask, now I've had several calls and very pleasing calls from Mary Grace. And is that is she new on the staff, or, but she calls about reminders, et cetera?
Mary Grace has been on staff since last July, working at the front desk.
Okay.
And she was a part-time receptionist. I think I'd mentioned that Ingrid had gotten a job with the Rotary International. She's servicing the regional area, which is the southwestern portion of the state of Michigan. And very excited for her. So what we did is we announced internally first, and I hired from within for Mary.
Okay, thank you.
Anything further? Then, without further ado, we are adjourned.